Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Over It. My name is Michelle Kinney. I am one of your co-hosts today and co-founder of the Seneca Project. I am joined by our other co-host, Tara Stepmeyer, my illustrious fellow co-founder of the Seneca Project and author of Uncompromised on Substack, as well as Julie Roginski. She is the author of Salty Politics on Substack as well. She is a Democratic consultant, long time, and pundit. We love her. We love all of us. And JoJo, unfortunately, cannot join us at the moment. She might be here later. No promises, but TBD. So, welcome everyone to our show. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
As you could see, I'm in a bridal suite in a country club, but I'm not getting married. I had to give a
Fancy.
speech. I know. Right? I had to give a speech today for my nonprofit organization, and I didn't have time to get back to New York. I mean, somewhere in the beautiful rolling countryside of New Jersey. It's gorgeous here. I just want people to understand that New Jersey's not all New Jersey Turnpike. I'm in horse country, and it's actually very close to Bedminster, very close to Trump's golf course, but it's beautiful here. And I said to them, look, I need a place to do the show. And they gave me the bridal suite. So I'm surrounded by all sorts of bridal paraphernalia.
Well, hopefully no one's having a wedding anytime soon in the hot heat. And I heard that the weather in New Jersey has been so weird. There's been nothing but rain and storms. Down the shore, there was a water spout, which I'm used to seeing down in the Keys, but no, don't really see them down in Jersey. Like, it's been a weird weather summer.
It's
From
weird.
what I've heard from my friends in Jersey.
Yeah, it's beautiful today where I am. But
low humidity, right? It's low humidity here.
Very nice. So what's up, ladies?
Yeah.
This week has been insane in the membrane. It's crazy.
I mean, let's see. Are we gonna put President Obama on trial for treason, or are we gonna resurrect Hillary Clinton's servers and the emails, or are we gonna force Coke to use cane sugar now because Trump said so, or are what? I know they are, which is just insane. Even though I do prefer Mexican Coke or Coke from overseas, it is better. The one is in the bottle.
Right. I mean, and the Passover, they in New York and all the grocery stores during Passover, they have the real sugar Coke, and like you know that's the one time of year you can get it, and it's really good. But
But Donald Trump got everything else
Whatever.
fucking better to do over here. I mean,
Mr.
he's
Diet
literally
Coke over here,
I know.
the
He's
aspartame.
literally just freaking out and rage tweeting and just trying to do anything he can to say don't look over here, because
Right.
it's been a real shitty couple weeks for him, and the Epstein story isn't going away. In fact, it's getting worse. So he's just losing it.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I said this last night on MSNBC, where as enraging as it is that he's making these outrageous statements about President Obama and the Russian investigation from 2016, and literally using the word treason, which we all know is punishable by death.
By death.
Okay. It's almost boring, where it's like, dude, we've heard this already. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
come up with something new. You're so desperate. We see through it, but it's also like serious too.
I know.
Well,
I know.
I made this analogy for MAGA. This is like, okay, every time the Who rolls around, I'm like an idiot. I buy tickets because since 1988, I've been like, well, this might be their last concert ever. I got to go. And it's become like a joke because that happened in 1988. We're in 2015. They're coming around again.
Right.
And my husband's like, are you really going to blow money on the Who again? I was like, well, I don't know. This may be the last time I get to see them. But the reason I love seeing the Who is they don't have any new songs. They play the same greatest hits that I can turn on in my car, and I know all the words and I can sing along, and I love the Who, and that's why I go.
And you won't get fooled again. Sorry,
I
that
won't
was a
get fooled
terrible
again.
joke. That was a
Unlike
terrible
MAGA,
joke.
unlike
I'm sorry.
Unlike MAGA, they do get fooled again because thank you for mentioning that, Michelle, because they consistently go back to the greatest hits, and that's what he wants to do. But the problem is part of the greatest hits has been Jeffrey Epstein over and over again.
Yep.
So you can't play the greatest hits without Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Yep. That's like Madonna playing, all of her songs and not playing like a virgin, or,
Right.
like, are you serious?
And about our friend Bruce Springsteen, who we love, I remember hearing this complaint about going to his concerts sometimes, where he'd be like, "I want to hear the hits, I want to hear the hits," but then he's an artist, so he plays this like 15-minute version of 57 channels, and there's nothing on. But I think that he's even returned back to his roots too. But yeah, I mean, it's like though you want to hear "Born in the USA," that's
Right.
Yeah.
that's why you go.
And that's what he's trying to give them. He's trying to give them Born in the USA. He's trying to give them Born to Run.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not giving them Rosalita.
No.
And everybody wants to hear Rosalita, baby.
Yeah, it's like the Rolling Stones, like any of those guys that don't play their most famous hits. And then,
Right.
they play a couple, but then they don't play the ones that people come to hear. And then you're like, well, why aren't you playing that? What? It's
Right.
like, I forgot who it was that said that they were tired of performing a certain song. And it was
Well, I
like,
get it. I get it.
I get
Like,
it, but that's the song that made you famous. And that's the song that you wouldn't be where you are if it weren't for that song. And you've got some
Listen.
nerve saying you're tired of doing something that
Right.
has brought
Billy
joy.
Joel.
Yeah,
Billy Joel
Billy-
at MSG.
Yeah.
But he had the residency at MSG for however many years. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
saw, not to go on a tangent here, but I saw his first show back in New York. It was New Year's Eve. It was at the Barclays Center. It was before the MSG thing. And listen, it was the most hyped up crowd because he played all the songs that everybody loves. And even if he's sick of it, I think he appreciates his fan base so much that he will give that to them because that's what they came for. That's what they're
they
asking
paid
for.
Right.
Right.
That's what made you famous. Like you have to kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like it's
Right.
weird. But
Release
anyway, it's
the
the same.
Epstein
I have
files.
the ultimate musical analogy. Ready?
Right.
And then we can drop the
No, no, no.
subject because this is going down a total crazy tangent.
But you know
Not-
what? I think it matters. I think it does kind of matter. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So in '94, let me back up. I love Led Zeppelin. Like love Led Zeppelin.
You and my stepdad. I'm not a
love
fan.
Your stepdad and my mom hates it. My mom.
My mom does too.
Really? Oh man.
She
I mean,
hears
Stairway to Heaven is fine, but after that, I can't.
Oh no! So
Legends.
I can't listen to Stairway to Heaven anymore. So anyway, so I go to Page and Plant reunite. Robert Plant and Jimmy Page reunite, and they do this
Mhm.
concert at the old Boston Garden at the Garden. And I'm in college, so I go, and the crowd is really hyped up, and they play everything except Stairway to Heaven. Everything except Stairway to Heaven. Now, I am sick of Stairway to Heaven. If I never hear Stairway to Heaven again, it'll be too soon. So I'm totally fine with that because I was such a deep cut Led Zeppelin person that I was like, play all of it. That's great.
Yeah.
Crowd went crazy. They were so
Yeah.
pissed off that they didn't play Stairway to Heaven. And this is
Mhm.
Jeffrey Epstein Stairway to Heaven.
Yes.
That's a good
yes.
analogy.
Yes.
And that's the problem. He's playing Kashmir, the Russian hoax.
That's actually not a bad song.
Yeah.
I kind of like Kashmir.
Oh, I could keep going, Tara.
You and who is it?
Dun-dun-dun.
Somebody else that doesn't like Led Zeppelin and gets into arguments all the time. Maybe
I
it's Tom
don't
Nichols, but he argues with
understand.
people
Well,
all the time.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
he gets into internet fights about Indian food. Like
I
can't-
know.
I have a deep respect for Tom Nichols because he's very smart and he's had quite the illustrious career. But he gets cranky about nonsense. I
He
don't
does.
understand.
But he embraces it. He's a professional curmudgeon, and he embraces
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But anyway,
But that's my
Anyways.
point. My point is
Yeah.
like he's playing every single greatest hit, and people are like, but that's not what we want to hear about. And by the way, the Russia hoax thing, first of all, I mean, Olga Lautman and I are literally doing a whole show on this thing tomorrow, but not a hoax. I don't want to believe her now why it's not a hoax, other than to say tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern if you want to hear. But he's like, let's come after Barack Obama. Let's go after Hillary Clinton. Like the same old people. It doesn't really matter. He's trying. Like if you're MAGA, at which point do you say I'm being completely played here? Like
I know it's starting.
The Speaker of the House has now gone home to avoid talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Why?
Listen. If I was a person who, sorry, I don't want to die right now. Oh, also I got
Okay. Mute yourself. I'll pick it up. So listen, what's happening with Congress is something that I find amusing as a former Hill staffer. This used to be the busiest time of the year. Right now, before you head into August recess, and usually the last week of September, if they don't have their budget situation squared away because it's the last week of the fiscal year, so there's always a lot going on. But right now, This was the biggest, most busy. Everybody's running around because you're supposed to be passing all the budget bills for
before
each
you
cabinet
go away for a
department,
month,
right? And getting else, whatever else, because you go on your August recess, which is your district home period, for a month and a half. You're gone, and that's when your member goes on their CODELs overseas and they have their town halls, and they go and do whatever else until after Labor Day. And also, most people, right? This is the August is the time where everybody goes on vacation. If depending on where you live, your kids are already back into school by mid-August, like in Florida, where we're from in Jersey. Julie, we didn't go back to school till after Labor Day. For us, it was like I was like, what is this bullshit? Go to school in New York in August stuff. I'm like, August was like the best time of the year because you went out to sport, you did whatever. My birthday's in September, so I have Labor Day, end of the summer, my birthday, school started. It was awesome. So all of this is what's supposed to be happening now. And for the Speaker of the House, and I honestly, maybe Julie, you can remember a time. I don't remember a time when there was a July August recess. Never, ever. Not in recent memory. Not in recent memory.
This is where I feel like we have to remind the American people that all of these people work for us, and they just decided to leave work early. Like if you were in the business and all of your staff was just like, I don't want to make milkshakes today, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
What would you do? You'd fire these people.
That's right. That's the point that should be made. You don't get like, yes, you're Speaker of the House, but like you're deciding to just stop working because you don't want to do what you were assigned to do anymore.
Over
I don't want to deal with it.
That implicates the president of the United States in a pedophilia, sex trafficking and scandal crime.
And I gotta say, Mike Johnson, Christian evangelical,
pornography partner, advocate with his son.
Okay, people don't talk about that enough either.
I know, it's weird. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I mean, do people know this, that he and his son keep tabs at each other to make sure they don't watch porn together?
They may not. I guess we could bring it up again.
Let's bring it up.
Yeah. So Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House from Louisiana, years ago was talking about how him and his son, I think it was at some kind of Christian conference thing, I forgot what it was at, where he was talking about accountability and morality and how him and his teenage son at the time were pornography accountability partners, where they check each other's phone. They have some app on the phone that sends like a notification to the other person if they access naughty things. I'm sorry. That's fucking weird. It's weird. And there's also like he has some random black son. I don't know if that's the one. Maybe it's another one. But he has some adopted black son that has disappeared that nobody talks about, and he wants nothing to do with the family.
Who he adopted as a young man who was like early. I mean, I think he was in like his 20s or something, and adopted this teenage boy by himself. And was part of his family. Yeah, and then he got married, and then all of his family photos is like he and his white family, and the black son disappeared from these photographs. Like, where is he? What happened to him?
And what? I don't know. I mean, anyway, God bless if you're going to adopt a son as a single dad, but it's also very weird. I feel I get very. What's the movie? What's the movie with the
Get Out? Sunken Place? Get Out.
Yes, I get very weird Get Out vibes when it's Southern white people that. And with the black son, and just I don't know, it's weird. I don't know, the whole thing is weird.
I don't know about that, but what's weird is the whole
trust me, it's weird
porn accountability thing. I mean, all of them are weird because Trump had this. I don't know if people noticed this comment. Michelle, did you send this to me? Somebody did. I think it was you.
I don't know.
Crazy comment where Trump said back in the day to Howard Stern or somebody,
Nestor,
my daughter is getting older. She's now talking about Ivanka. She's now 17, and I made a commitment to her that I would never date anybody younger than her. And it's getting harder now that she's 17.
Yeah, like
and listen, he said in an interview that he won't go any younger than 12. He said that it is on the record.
So what's weird to me is. Yeah, somebody here said Matt Gaetz with his weirdo.
Yes, Nestor.
Who was helping him with the Venmo payments or whatever else.
To a 17-year-old girl underage. That just went away, by the way. All these guys. I don't remember the last time we heard of a Democrat getting involved in this stuff. Nothing they don't, but just saying.
I gotta say, I have a son. And I get it. I'm a woman. I wouldn't be. I'm the mom. But the notion of joking that I'm never going to date anybody younger than my 17-year-old son. Who's
So
13,
weird and
who's
gross.
13, by the way, which is weird, like bringing your son into that equation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jojo.
Speaking of bringing into this equation, but
Yeah.
not under those circumstances. Hi, Joe. Keep going,
Hi.
Julie.
And so that's weird. And then the whole Johnson thing about his son is weird.
Yes.
But the point is, we're talking about the weirdo Matt Gaetz with his weirdo adopted son, Nestor. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And what it like? Do these like as a mom? Do they just not have normal relationships with their kids? Like you come home, you tell your kids to go.
Not these people. I mean, Donald Trump on several occasions has said that the thing that he has in common with her is sex. He talks about her body, says that she has this great body. She's very voluptuous. Says if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. And then when he was doing an interview with Marla Maples and the little baby Tiffany talking to someone, made a comment about that. Oh, she's got, she was a baby, saying that she had Marla's legs, and we'll just have to wait to see what this looks like.
I mean, it's just awful.
Those never came, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But you guys, like,
well, don't forget that. Sorry, Mike Johnson's son is has a porn app that
we were just that's what you walked in on. That's what started us down this road.
Yeah. So what's so weird to me about this whole situation is these are the people who ostensibly are praying to the sweet baby Jesus every day and positioning themselves as some good evangelical Christian. Like, what the hell? Like, the whole thing is weird. I'm sorry.
It's weird. And it's and it's also the same thing that like that fuels the conspiracy theories. It's like always the people that protest too much. They're usually the first ones that are guilty of the same thing. Like we see this all the time. And you know, the Christian pastors who are so anti, you know, homosexuality, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you find out whatever. You know what I mean? Like it happens so much
underneath the stall of the bathroom.
Yeah. It's like how many times? And it's like this is another one of those situations. And so it kind of leaves me to my over it, which is I'm over the fact that now the next distraction that they're trying to put out here is because Pam Bondi's on the hot seat and Trump was reportedly pissed off that he still has to keep defending her because she's the one that said she had the files on her desk and she was all about, you know, I'm going to release the files, blah, blah, blah. And she's ultimately responsible for it as the attorney general. And he's like, okay, nothing's working. Now I still have to defend her now. Like, do something. So they tried with the grand jury thing. Well, release the grand jury testimony stuff. And then that didn't quite work because it's got to go through a judge. So that didn't squash people's appetite for it. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell is back in the front pages. And she was Jeffrey Epstein's madam, right hand, who was involved in all of this. She helped recruit the girls and prep them and all this. She was fucking terrible.
And plucking these little girls.
Terrible.
To go give him massages, which we all know were not massages.
Michelle, there's a couple of documentaries that are out that came out years ago that really detailed this. And she is a fucking terrible person.
Yes.
She's as bad as he is because she was involved and an accomplice in it. And all because she wanted to be back in high society. So like she deserves to be in prison for 20 years. Where she's sitting. And guess who she was prosecuted by? She was prosecuted by Maureen Comey. Yes, the same Comey as James Comey. Maureen Comey was recently fired since the last time we did the show because she's Maureen Comey and she was a lead prosecutor on Ghislaine Maxwell. So they needed to get her out of the way so that Todd Blanche, who is the deputy attorney general, former Donald Trump defense attorney, can go now and interview Maxwell and see what she knows. Now, listen, okay? This is insane, and this is highly unusual and inappropriate in a situation like this. We all know that they're going there to see if she's going to try to give them cover because she hasn't said anything up until now. She's taken the L for everybody, but she wants to get out of prison. So she's going to, I suspect anything she says at this point cannot be trusted. She's going to say whatever she needs to say so that Donald Trump or the DOJ cuts her a deal to get her out of prison. And then they're going to take whatever heat they want to try to distract. She'll say it was Bill Clinton or it was Hillary and Bill Clinton and Chelsea was there too. Whatever to get herself out of jail. And this is just so tainted and such an affront to the rule of law and how our Department of Justice is supposed to work. And what about all the victims And those
Yeah.
folks, what about those women?
Because
And
a lot
not
of them want to
victimized?
speak their story. They want
Well,
to tell.
Of course,
They
but they're
want to
afraid. Like,
testify.
this is a disaster. It's a mess.
We actually talk about the survivors here because I think it's important. The
Mhm.
one voice we really haven't heard are the survivors. And we've heard from some. A few more have come out recently. The biggest one, Virginia Giuffre, is unfortunately dead. Everybody ends up dead in the story, by the way. It's very bizarre. Everybody commits suicide in this.
Yeah, that right. Joe, the other lawyer died last night. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? I missed that. Who?
Yeah.
What
Wasn't
other
it like
lawyer?
wasn't it like Epstein's lawyer or something died last night?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
he
wow.
was an older man, so it's not terribly.
Roy Black.
Oh, Roy
Yeah.
Black. Roy Black. Yeah. So
Oh.
Roy Black, I know Roy Black. Roy Black actually first defended William Kennedy Smith back in the day.
Yep. That's right. Long time.
God,
Who I knew.
deep,
Who I
deep throat.
knew.
Yeah.
And so I remember Roy Black from that story. But what's weird is Roy Black is the guy that cut the deal for Epstein.
The first time, right?
With that non-prosecution agreement, which
Mhm.
which importantly, and I want people to really understand this, importantly, didn't just give a non-prosecution agreement to Epstein. It gave a non-pros agreement to Epstein and any other potential co-conspirators. They were not named. They named 4 co-conspirators. It's interesting. They named 4 co-conspirators. They were all women. They were all assistants to Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell was not one of them. She's now arguing that that non-prosecution agreement applied to her as well. That's bullshit because that non-prosecution agreement only applied to the Southern District of Florida.
Right. That was the Alex Acosta 2007 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's relevant about this is when they go and cut this deal with her, first of all, Todd Blanche is a deputy attorney general. Under no circumstances would somebody of that level ever be meeting
That is correct.
with somebody in prison.
Right. Right.
So the very fact that she is meeting with him says 1,000% that they are panicked. I mean, like, how much more do they have to tell you before you realize what's going on here?
Right. Say you're freaking out and worried without saying you're freaking out and worried.
They're basically saying they're freaking out and worried. They're sending Congress. Let's look at what they're doing. They're sending Congress home to avoid a resolution, a non-binding resolution to release the report. That's
bipartisan, by the way.
Bipartisan, right?
Bipartisan, led by Thomas Massey, the Republican from Kentucky, who's been a thorn in Trump's ass now because they don't get along. So
yeah. So you basically, and Ro Khanna, God bless, get off my TV.
I know. I'm over him, but go ahead.
I'm over him too. So they're getting rid of Congress. They are sending, I don't know why I'm giving a thumbs up. They're getting rid of Congress. They are getting rid of Ghislaine Maxwell by effectively probably commuting her sentence, which is crazy train. A woman.
It's going to be like an Eric Adams deal. They're going to hold it over so she doesn't start talking.
Well, which is why they'll commute and not pardon, because commutation means they just get rid of the sentence and get out of prison, but the conviction remains.
Yep.
Right.
Unlike a pardon, which wipes everything clean.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to commute her sentence. They are they are blocking Treasury from releasing, as Ron Wyden talked about yesterday. I don't know about this. All of the money trails, all of the money that was coming in, the wires that were, I think there were thousands of them, 4,000 or something, coming in to Epstein from random people that they believe were used to traffic these girls.
Which has not gotten enough coverage, I will say.
Not enough coverage
at all. I don't know. That's like
And-
more hard evidence than just the salacious part.
You don't have to be an effing genius to ask the question, to what end are they doing this? Why? Why?
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
Why?
Especially when they ran on promising that they would release all of this.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but the Be It King account, they were like, when they released the MLK files, they're like, okay, now do Epstein.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
this is what you promised.
It's
And now you're going
backfiring.
Right. They went to all these great lengths to prove that Donald Trump is innocent by not doing anything that proves Donald Trump is innocent.
Well, they completely underestimated the base. They completely underestimated his supporters, which is further proof, again, that he thinks they're stupid. And he thinks that they won't care. Right. I mean, he said they're weak, they're this, that, because why do they even care about this? Well, because you promised them and you made them all believe, and he is wondering why they aren't twisting themselves into a pretzel to form the letter Q that
Mhm.
that allows them to continue down this path of, oh, well, it must be the Democrats, it can't be Trump. Well, and they're starting to like have their epiphany, I think, for the first time, at least some of them, that like man, maybe he doesn't like us.
That
Maybe he thinks we're
too.
dumb.
That, and because he said it. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
he said it as much, and him trying to distance himself from the relationship with him is nonsensical. I mean, there's a lot of things that he does that are nonsensical that we're like, it's provably false, but there's so much evidence and video and photos and like the through line of how long he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, how close they were, that you cannot deny it. They're being inundated. K-File on CNN, credit to him.
Yeah.
Andrew Kaczynski, again, with a bombshell story, got a hold of,
It's a good reporter.
yeah, he is. He used to be my intern, which is crazy.
Oh, no shit. He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
way back when I worked in Capitol Hill, and he was an intrepid go-getter then. And I knew he was that kid was going to do big things. But anyway, but they just released last night, and I think, and we have those photos and video of him at Trump's wedding to Marla Maples. Like they were best buddies, and everybody in New York high society knew it because those circles are very small. As big as New York is, those circles are very small. Everybody knows everybody else's stuff. They go to everybody else's parties and get-togethers and charity events and all this and shit. There's pictures of him with Eric and Don at the opening of the Harley Davidson Cafe in New York. Like, and there's Jeffrey Epstein in the back. Like, they were best buddies.
I feel like I read a long time ago that they called him Uncle Jeff. That Don told somebody that they called him Uncle Jeff. Friends. I mean, there's also my friend Joe from Call to Activism. He tweeted a video, and I'm going to look for both the picture and the video of them at a fashion show. And Melania is sitting right next to Trump, and Epstein's like 3 or 4 people over from her. And then they all stand up and they're all chatting with each other. I mean, again, he told Michael Wolff that Melania and Trump got together for the first time on the Lolita Express.
Yes.
Like, there's so many data points. How many?
And the teenage modeling agency, back to Julie's Substack, that if you guys haven't read it, go check it out. I mean, she sourced the whole thing and the whole like weird teen modeling thing. Like, what is happening? It's too much. So anyway.
But that's the whole thing. Like, wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody on earth ever is going to assume that they're doing this all to protect who? Bill Clinton?
Right. At this point, no.
Like to what end? Like, has Donald Trump ever given a rat's ass about anybody but himself?
No.
He shut down Congress, shut down a federal investigation, have his deputy attorney general speak to a convicted sex trafficker to get the truth from her, which you don't need because you have her testimony, witness testimony from her trial, stuff that didn't make it into trial, release all of that. You have the witness impact statements. You have all of the witnesses, the 401, I forgot they're called, the 301s or 401s, whatever.
301s, 401ks, the retirement. I think it's 302s. 302s.
My head's not working in this bridal suite that I'm sitting at. What's behind me?
FBI 302s, I believe they are.
Look like clouds.
Little roses, yeah. But
are they?
I was like trying
snowmen.
I
thought they were like little chickens. I thought they were little chickens.
They look like clouds with headphones.
No, they're little
it's Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
Lucy in the sky with roses. It's little white vases with roses.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So JoJo,
chickens.
Julie's at a country club spot to do a speech today, and she's in the bridal suite. There, it's out in Western Jersey.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me where.
But the point is, like, get with it, MAGA.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what I don't understand. This is where I talking to Dino Bladaya the other day, because he's like, is 2 + 2 = 4 a Jersey thing? And I'm like, no, it's just a sensible thing. Like 2 + 2 = 4, but they will make 2 + 2 equal unicorns from Endor,
right?
And speaking in tongues. And I just don't understand how they can go, look at all these data points. Look, Pam Bondi. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, okay, Donald Trump has this many letters in it, and then January has this many letters in it, and there's 14 numbers in this thing. Like, this is what they do. And I'm like, do you ever just consider that maybe the most clear thing in front of you is what's real. Like, it's like people can't deal with reality, and so they make up the shit to deal with the day to day. And it's like, and that's what we're dealing with. I mean, this is a cult. It's a cult.
Well, I think that that's a good transition to your Over It, Michelle, because talking about being real and living in reality.
Yeah.
Now, the timing isn't great, which I said also on MSNBC.
I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with that.
Disagree.
But yes.
Well, I mean,
and I'm with Sarah on the timing. I'm with Sarah
I don't
on
think the timing was great. However, I'm here for the read, and it's the Hunter Biden interview. Go, Michelle.
Here's my question. When was a good time? When is a good time?
Well, not when Donald Trump's blowing himself up in MAGA.
That's never going to
turn
stop.
To Hunter Biden.
That's never.
You know what? Stop. I want to hear Hunter Biden on Epstein.
I mean,
bring Hunter Biden in to talk about Epstein.
I don't know that he has credibility on it.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know that because he's Michelle's point. He's speaking truth to power. Go, Michelle.
No, so Hunter Biden, if you don't know this, he did an interview. He did 2 interviews. One is with this, I don't even know what it was, like a Channel 5 something or other.
It's British. It's a
is
British
that what
station.
it is?
Yeah,
and he's like outside somewhere, and he's dropping F-bombs every other word. And I gotta be real,
South Africa. I don't think he's stepped foot on American soil because of all the reasons. And
I think
he's been in South Africa with his wife's family for months. So.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's where he was, but I suspect.
Yeah, I don't know either. But he's outside and he's having this conversation, and he touches on everything, and he unleashes. Now. And then there's the second interview he did with Jamie Harrison, which is also great. And there's way less.
That one I haven't seen.
It's really good, and no F-bombs in that one because I think he's trying to be like respectful to the the whole thing. And he's not sitting in a chair outside in his backyard, but Hunter Biden is whip smart, guys. He is like crazy smart.
He is.
And he's incredibly articulate, and the way that he speaks is very well thought out. And if I hear one more consultant class asshole, who I normally otherwise like, okay, there's people that I listen to their stuff, I subscribe to their stuff, but then they come out here with this stuff, and these are the same people that I was mad at this time last year, saying, oh, he's having a mental breakdown, he's having this. F you, first of all. Second of all, don't you dare take this man's history with addiction to make some sort of mean argument against Joe Biden and the family that has served this country for decades. How dare you? How dare you? And not to mention also, is this, dare I say, very white, very privileged consultant class, again, that comes out here swinging, telling people that they know what's right and they know what people in working class, middle class America want, because they keep getting it wrong. And the 4 of us here came from very humble beginnings. And, every time that I go back home, I see it. I grew up in rural America where there was something crazy like, I don't know, like a 10, 11% unemployment rate at one point, post-industrial area, no jobs. I mean, these people are suffering. And unfortunately, they're MAGA, and they kind of always have been Republican. But, you have to look at the people who stuck with Joe Biden. And it was the Black caucus. It was the Hispanic caucus. There was a lot of people that are the base of the Democratic Party that apparently there's the elite part of the party doesn't want to recognize, because even the Progressive caucus came out in support of Joe Biden, because they knew, and I'm talking about Bernie, I'm talking about AOC. Now AOC had, and Hunter Biden does talk about this, that, there was conversations that were happening behind closed doors that nobody wanted to talk about. And they were all talking to reporters, and nobody would go on the record. They were all shit talking Joe Biden and saying stuff that may or may not be true, or fabricated or exaggerated. And these people were Nancy Pelosi. I mean, we're talking about the David Axelrods of the world. We're talking about the Pod Save America.
We all knew at the time, like those like us in the like we're in the inside of it. So we knew through through our circles, as soon as all this was coming out, we were
Yeah.
hearing the chatter. But for it now to finally be confirmed, and also like Josh Dossie's new book that they wrote about the election, which I actually did buy and I'm starting to go through, alludes to a lot of this as well. So it's well sourced. So to hear it from Hunter, who was literally in the room while this was all going on, saying what everybody was afraid to say on the record publicly is refreshing, because people need to know the truth about what really happened.
Well, right. And this is a man who has struggled with addiction in the worst ways.
Yes.
He has been to hell and back. Now he takes responsibility for it. And he's very open about it. He talks about it, and he talks about it a lot.
His book was really the one that came out in 2020. It was called like Beautiful something, but it was about all of that, and it was really, really heartfelt. And for people, and I said this back then in 2020, where everybody thought that Hunter Biden was going to be Joe Biden's liability.
No way.
I said absolutely not. They should embrace it. There are millions of families who have someone that has struggled with addiction. It's
especially with the opioid crisis, what it is now.
I mean, in the places that Biden needed to win,
exactly.
This was a real thing that made them relatable. And I thought when Hunter did that interview back in 2020, where he was also very open and like, free and just spoke from the heart about embracing what happened to him, I thought that was a great thing. I called it the 8 Mile strategy. They needed to do that and go on offense, just like in the movie 8 Mile with Eminem at the end, where he is in the rap battle with Papa Doc, and he goes and he basically disses himself and takes away all of the possible disses and insults that Papa Doc could say against him.
I'm going to say it first.
I'll say it first. And he said, now tell them something about me that they don't already know, and drops the mic and walks off. I said that's what the Biden campaign should have done about Hunter. And they kind of sort of did. So fast forward to Hunter now coming out in 2025 and saying like all the things that everybody, should have said back then. That's why, again, he's got a pattern of doing this.
Right. Yeah, and sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just have so many thoughts because I was sort of on the inside of a lot of this, where as a content creator who was working with some people in the consultancy class who were coordinating messaging. Yeah, that's a real thing that happens, by the way, friends. It happens on their side all the time. And it's part of a strategy. It was a terrible strategy because that consultancy class, they're not all bad. I'm not gonna say that they are, but they were not driven by truly altruistic means or endeavors. They were driven by dollars and cents.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And they were playing a bullshit game with a whole bunch of people by saying we're standing with our man, we're standing with our man. Like, and by the way, everybody knows I'm a Joe Biden stan to a fucking fault, almost to a point where I could be accused of being a cultist myself. Like, I love the man.
We all love Joe.
I was getting in fights with, I was fucking punching throats with, whether it was Tim Miller or the Pod Boys or fucking Tom Nichols. I don't give a shit.
We were too.
All the throats, right? Because if I was like, you're gonna give him all these hurdles, like Hunter said. You're going to start, if he can do this, then it's fine. If he can do an interview, then it's fine. If he can do a press conference, it's fine. He goes out through every fucking one of these goddamn hurdles. In the meantime, behind the scenes, what we all knew is that what Nancy Pelosi and others, David Axelrod, yes, I'm calling you out too, because that everybody knows he was involved, Barack Obama, they're lying to so many people on our side, while Nancy is sending, at the time, it felt like waves of soldiers, right? So it starts with a couple lesser known members of the House, and the next thing you know, you got what's his name in Ohio, Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown's out there, Mikey Sherrill's out there. Then it just gets bigger and bigger, and every time he hits a hurdle and he does okay, she sends out another line. And then towards the end, almost the last day, this was, I believe Joe pulled out on a Sunday, I think. Maybe wrong. So Saturday night, I get a text. You didn't hear it here. Don't tell anybody. Nancy's going to give a speech and she's going to say something you're not going to be happy about. Don't tell anybody, right? That's, first of all, bullshit. So now I'm bracing, like she's gonna finally shank Joe once and for all and stop doing this hemming and hawing. Oh, I don't know. It's up to him. So I'm waiting for the speech. The speech goes. I'm not the only content creator that was told this, by the way. Lots and lots and lots of people went to the press with this.
Of course, that's why they did it.
That's why they did it, though. Yeah.
It goes to Joe Biden, and that's the night before. What is he going to do? what the hell is this person supposed to do? They have basically cornered him. They've surrounded him. There's wave after wave of Democrat. And I called them out, and we all did. And it's insidious, and it's cruel, and it's disgusting. And Hunter is absolutely right. We can talk about the timing in a second, because Tara and I think agree on the timing of it and the messenger for it in this moment. But everything he said is true. And it's gonna piss off those consultants, because they are still making so much fucking bank right now.
Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
You know what also happens, and Tara can vouch for this also? All of these discussions take place in green rooms.
Yes.
They take place in green rooms. Who sits in green rooms? Tara and I sit in green rooms, but why? Because we're part of that class. I hate to say it, but we are. We don't act like it, but we are. And you sit in green rooms, and you have, I'm not going to call out David Axelrod or whoever, but you have people who are like, Biden, and then he should get out. And it's the insidious loop where then the same people then go on TV and they say it before them while you're getting mic'd up. And then when the camera comes on, you kind of say it nicer way. But the reality is that it's just think about that. Who sits in green rooms in Washington, D.C. and in New York? It's that class. It's those people. And yes, I said there too. And so do you, Tara. But the reality is we're not like that.
Yeah. Nope. That's what. And I can tell you that in those green rooms and in those makeup chairs, Julie's 100% right. People will say one thing and then go on a camera and say something completely different. Well, and it's why a lot of times when I'm on set, I don't talk to the other side. We're not friends. Okay. Because they're a bunch of fucking liars. And they, we're talking about people that are on our side right now, but there is a lot of performative bullshit that goes on, and a lot of like, this is just like it's a performance for them. They don't believe anything. They're nihilists. They don't believe anything. They're just cashing checks. Unless you actually believe everything we say, and what you see is what you get here.
Right. And so I will say again that these are Beltway people. Okay.
Yeah.
And
a Acela corridor if you want to count New York.
Yeah.
and people who who Hunter points out several times now live in Beverly Hills, making millions and millions of dollars. Tommy Vitor, again, always running his mouth about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, you went to the same prep school as Ted Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and let's see, T.S. Eliot. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's fine. We're all born into what we're born into, but like, don't pretend to be like the spokesperson for like the working people. It's so insulting. It is so insulting. And so, and Hunter Biden touches on his addiction with his interview with Jamie Harrison. He talks about the fundraiser with Obama, which apparently, the whole rumor was that Obama had to show Biden off the stage because he didn't know where he was. That is not what happened. And there is footage and photographs to prove it. There were 3 white guys, Free Palestine people, who got up in the front of the theater and started shouting at Joe Biden. And he walked to the front of the stage to address them. And he was talking to them.
Weren't you there?
Weren't
you at that fundraiser?
No. This wasn't at Radio City. This was the other one. And ushers him off stage to be like, let's go. And that's what that was. It wasn't Joe Biden didn't know what the hell was going on. It wasn't any of that. And same thing with this George Clooney thing. Now, he talks about George Clooney. This is another one I rag on all the time. Apparently, he several times was threatening to pull out. And part of this had to do with the fact that Joe Biden would not acknowledge this ICC arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Now, who worked on that? George Clooney's wife. And so they felt personally slighted by the whole thing.
Unbelievable.
And so then he was like, I'll do it this. And then he's like, no, I'll only do it on this day. So Biden had just flown from like Singapore to Italy to back to the United States, this 80-year-old man who'd gotten no sleep, and he'd been on 3 continents in like 36 hours or something.
Which is the fault of his people, because they should have known better than to put that kind of schedule and expect him to perform at a debate.
And so his staffer is walking around ushering this person, Mr. President, this person, and brings him up to Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Is like George Clooney and Julia Roberts. And, had to be introduced to them, be like, that's what he was doing with everyone. But instead, George Clooney made it into a thing and was like, Joe Biden didn't know who I was.
Oh, and who was George Clooney listening to, by the way? I think we all know the answer to
Barack
that question.
Obama. And
Bingo.
here's the other thing with the Obama and Biden world is that there's always been this.
Always.
There's always been this. And from day
Yes,
one.
David Axelrod comes in.
And this is right. This has been written in books. David Axelrod and David Plouffe had it out for Joe Biden. They never thought that he had the pedigree, nor the wherewithal, or the smarts, or the character, really, or self-control to be able to be president of the United States. And they never thought he was like good enough, and they didn't think that his education was enough. And let me tell you right now.
That comment.
I know.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
Go
see
ahead.
it.
No, keep going.
I went to the same school as Joe Biden. I grew up in a place like Scranton, Pennsylvania. So you know what? F you again. Seriously, all of you. And listen, it comes from the head. And this, I say this as someone who loves Barack Obama and always has, but I'm learning more and more and more since then, like what his world of people, how they treat other people. And I am so not okay with any of it. And it's really put some patina on a big shiny thing that I've always, admired. And just the last thing here is the Tapper part of this, because I actually think that this is really satisfying. I have a whole bunch of clips here, but I actually think, given the time, that this one is good. And I'm just going to play this.
You see the other day when Donald Trump pointed to the Declaration of Independence and said, you know, I'm against war. I think we could have saved 600,000 lives in the Civil War.
You look right up there. I don't know. See the Declaration of Independence, and I say, I wonder if the Civil War. It always seemed to me maybe that could have been solved without losing 600,000 plus people.
As if there's a connection between the Declaration of Independence and the Civil War. But can you imagine my dad did that? Can you imagine if he opened up that treaty with the Prime Minister Starmer at the G7 in Canada and all the pages fell out, and then he said that he just signed a treaty with the European Union with the Prime Minister of the UK standing next to him? Can you imagine? And then if he got on a plane and said the reason that he was going home early from the G7 is because he had a major announcement the next day, and then the next day he put up a flagpole? Can you imagine any of those things?
So you're saying...
Where the fuck is Jake Tapper?
Yes, Bot Hunter.
Amen.
And yes. And it's hold on. And just really quick, this is like a quick 30-second.
Run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, fuck you. How are we getting those people back from fucking El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Listen, first of all, Hunter sounds like us in our group chat.
I know. But he also sounds just like his dad.
Yes, I know his voice. It's crazy. It's creepy.
But you guys, here's the and this actually comes into my over, and we can go back to talking about what Michelle's talking about, because
no, it's okay. You can move on.
No, I want to, because they're interconnected. That's what we need.
Yes.
No,
yes.
That is what we need. Without Hunter's baggage, without Joe Biden's age, unfortunately. Right. But we need that kind of direct talk. Meanwhile, my over it, to go back to the consultant class, is Rahm Emanuel. Do we have that clip? Can you play that clip, Em? Maybe? Nope.
Can a
hold on.
woman?
Oh, it's the Megyn Kelly one?
No.
Thank you.
No.
That's
Oh,
so
you got to start
easy.
it from
Why
the
don't more
beginning.
people
Do
in
you
your
have it
party
from the
just
beginning?
say that?
Missed
Because
the.
I'm now.
I did it.
Can a man become a woman?
Can a man become a woman? No.
Thank you.
No.
That's so easy. Why don't more people in your party just say that?
Because I'm now going to go into a witness protection plan.
Fuck
Do you believe your party, and would you as a candidate step away entirely from supporting trans rights under any circumstances?
So, look, I've made that point. It's clear. You can take medicine, but that's basically what you were born. Now, look, I, as both ambassador, had trans people working at the embassy. They did their job. We didn't talk about anything else but the job we were doing as public servants for the United States. When I was mayor in 2016, passed an ordinance as it relates to bathroom access. But my focus was on increasing graduation rates from 56% to when I walked out at 83%. That's where the American people want us to focus on. I get for an individual or a child trying to figure out their pronoun, but the other 35 kids in the class don't know what a pronoun is, and that has to be our focus. We are losing the focus of the forest for the trees. And to me, not only is the country I know ready, and I do believe actually the Democratic Party is ready. I'm respectful of a decision made individually as an adult, but I'm also respectful of the responsibilities to help people buy a home, to help people make sure they live in a safe neighborhood, to help people make sure that they have not only health insurance, but also retirement security. That is what our responsibility is. So I think there's just, in my view, there was a distraction from the core responsibility we have as a party, which is that the American dream is unaffordable, and we're going to make, and that is unacceptable to us as a Democratic Party.
You know what, Michelle, this is my over it, because this goes exactly to your point. That's why I wanted to play it whilst talking about your point. What a bunch of incoherent bullshit. Contrast that with Hunter Biden. Now you could sit there, you could talk about how Hunter Biden is an addict, how he didn't help his father, how he was a distraction with the laptop, all this other bullshit. But let's talk in the here and now. You have one person, it happens to be Hunter Biden, who's showing Democrats how to communicate. And then you have Rahm Emanuel, on the other hand, who apparently is the future of the Democratic Party because he's running for president, talking about how Democrats should not communicate. That's why I wanted to juxtapose my over it with exactly what you're talking about here too.
Yes, Susan. Yes. Yes. And trust me, I've been thinking a lot about it.
And
been thinking a lot about it.
And the problem is that what Rahm Emanuel should have said to Megyn Kelly, whom I know really well, is, Megyn, why the fuck are you so obsessed with things that are none of your goddamn business?
That's the way to answer that, Julie, by the way, because people get dragged into this trans every time. And I said this yesterday. We talked about this on MSNBC yesterday. Why Democrats get dragged into the demagoguing fight that Republicans take these issues that affects a very minuscule amount of people? And is it important to those communities? Yes, it is. But it is a minuscule amount. And what they do is that they take it and blow it up into this big national issue. And then Democrats are on the defense the whole time. And Republicans keep, going at them. You just acknowledge what you just said. Listen, it's a complicated issue. Why do you care so much about this?
Why are you obsessed with other people's sexuality? Like, why are you so obsessed with
get off of
right.
it?
That's where you take the Republican angle here.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be small government and individual liberties.
Yes.
That's to your point, Tara. This is what you say. Why does it matter to you, to me, or to the government of this United States?
Right.
What's going on in your bedrooms
Turn
or
it
your
around.
bathrooms?
And
This
that's
is
the
none of
thing.
our business. And
This
it's
is the
not
thing,
ours either.
They want to decide what books you can read, right? What gender you are, who you can love or marry, what subjects you can study in school, what medications you can take, what healthcare you can access, what you call your fucking football team. And then they will turn around and tell you that the Democrats are the ones that are coming for your freedoms. It's bullshit. And they are consistently grabbing more and more of those freedoms, friends. But now they're putting the 10 Commandments in your kids' schools. They're putting Bible in your kids' schools. They are the antithesis of personal liberty and small government. I mean, absolutely 100%. Why are you so obsessed with somebody else's sexuality? What the fuck difference does it make to you which bathroom I use?
By the
Why
way,
do you care?
what Megan's answer would have been is, I don't want them playing sports with my daughter. That would have been her answer. I have a daughter I forgot how old her daughter is, but a teenager. I have a daughter who's in high school, and I don't want those people playing sports with my kids. And the answer is, Megan. And the answer is, Megan, I know the school that Megan's daughter goes to, are there any kids who are playing sports with your daughter?
And that's right.
The answer is no.
Correct. Because the answer is there's like 10 athetes in the whole country that are actually trans athletes. And I've acknowledged that this is a challenging issue for me because there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that for the people in the school districts where this impacts their kids, we understand why this is an emotional issue for everyone, and let those local communities work that out. But it should not, the rest of the country should not be saddled with this issue that it doesn't impact them at all. And, but you have to acknowledge that for some people that it is complicated to understand, and that, you don't want to get dragged into debating the merits of hormonal therapy versus this versus that, blah, blah, blah. Like when it impacts a minuscule amount of people in a state and locality of there. Let them figure it out.
And also just the values of kindness here also. It's just like, leave people alone.
And,
Leave
the whole,
people alone.
and his
Let
whole
them live their lives.
And his whole fucking thing, which drove me crazy. Well, like, they're not born that way. They take medicine, so that's how they become. Stop cleaning this shit up, okay? Let me give you a great example.
How many of us take medicine for things that we were born with? Give me a break.
Yeah. Here's a great, thank you. That's actually a good point. Here's a great example. Charlotte Clymer, who I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most thoughtful people out there, not on this issue, just on this issue, on every issue. Mm-hmm. She is like fantastic. If you don't, her Substack of Charlotte's Web, you should follow it if you don't. And she talks about this in a really kind of wonderful way because she's very understanding. She's much more forgiving to those people than they are to her.
Yeah.
But the reality is that Charlotte Clymer is a woman. She is a woman. And so are the other one or two of people who I know who are trans. If that's how they identify.
I didn't even know Charlotte was trans.
Yeah.
Charlotte's
you know
trans.
what I mean? Who
Yeah.
cares? Again, who cares?
Who cares?
So my point
Who
is,
cares?
for him to say this is an issue, it doesn't affect people, blah, blah, blah. You know what else was an issue that didn't affect many people? There's one trans kid in the classroom. What about the other 50 kids in the classroom? Okay, let's translate that to what happened in Little Rock, Arkansas, when a little black girl tried to walk in the schoolhouse door. Everybody in that classroom was white. Yeah. Why are we focusing on this one black girl? Why aren't we focusing on the 49 other white kids who have math score problems or whatever else? Like, really?
Yeah. Who, by the way, they secluded her and made her go learn in classrooms by herself with one teacher because no one wanted to be near her.
Yeah. And the thing is, but for Rom to be but for Rom to be having this conversation and to be saying, first of all, go back in time, get into that hot tub time machine, dude. Like, it's 2025. You had your moment, okay? Go ballet dance somewhere, whatever the fuck you do, okay? But for him to be having this conversation right now is him and saying this is what the Democrats care about, is him playing into the Republicans' hands. It is him
every time
them the narrative when we should be talking about, since this is very important to the people that it impacts and their families and their loved ones. There are, though, huge things that are impacting tens of millions of Americans right now that Americans actually do give a shit about.
Yeah, right. Turn it around.
Lives. 51,000 people plus will die directly because of the billionaire boner bill that they shoved down our throats and then ran away to August recess to pretend like everything's fine. That's what Democrats care about. That's what the American people care about. And they're handing us opportunity after opportunity to show the American people that they don't give a shit about any of us. Millions and tens of millions of us, not just 10 NCAA athletes. They don't give a shit about any of us. So why the fuck would anybody who calls themselves a Democrat working for the American people go out there and play into the Republican hands that all is fear-mongering and hate? You know what? Go out there and run on the fucking issues. Go out there and run on the fact that a convicted felon who golfed and diddled his little freaking peen while hundreds and thousands of Americans were dying on his watch, who golfed and said it is what it is. Go out there and talk about that. I don't want to talk about what the Republicans want to talk about because they don't want to talk about the facts. They don't want to talk the fact that Donald Trump sent a fucking birthday letter to one of the worst sex traffickers in the history of goddamn time. They don't want to talk about that we have 72 bazillion data points, including 15 years of those two being fucking best friends. They don't want to talk about any of that. So Rahm Emanuel, do us all a favor. And if you don't have anything to actually add to the conversation, then shut the fuck up. Thank you very much.
Yep. Well, and you
thank you for coming to Joe's TED Talk.
Yes, right. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah.
But you can pivot on these things without denigrating a group of people. You can say, I don't want to talk about that because A, B, and C, and here's why you shouldn't either. I want to talk about these things because it really matters. And I think that's a really good transition, Joe, to your Over It, which has to do with things that really matter to the American people and Donald Trump lying to us about it.
I am so friggin' sick of I'm over it. Of the media also, by the way, playing right into this because they don't push back. And the facts are right there, friends. We've all heard it. Gasoline is 20 bazillion% less expensive than it was. I brought gas down to $1.99 a gallon in at least 5 states. The only state where that's fucking true is a state of delusion, bro. You're Because facts, they're stubborn little things. And I know that MAGA has about as much use for them as they do a toothbrush and a thesaurus, but they still fucking exist. So here you go. And my energy drink just kicked in, if you can't tell. So here you go. It's called Google. Friends, all you do is go to the Google machine and enter U.S. gas price average and a AAA, that woke DEI deep state AAA right there. There's the numbers. Look at that. The national gas price averages. I don't see anything that even looks close to $1.99. Then you just look a little further. Oh, what are they in the states around this country? Now, I went and looked. The lowest I could find was Mississippi and Louisiana, and they're both over $2.70 a gallon, not $1.99. So guess what? Donald Trump is lying. He is lying about that. He is lying about the 90 deals in 90 days. He was lying about ending the war in Ukraine on day one. He's lying about his tariffs being good for prices. He's lying about prices, period. He's lying about inflation. He's fucking lying. And if he's lying about all of that, he's lying about Epstein, and he's lying about his connections to Russia, and Tulsi Gabbard is lying about that shit too. Marco Rubio, by the way, call your office because you're one of the people who said, yeah, Russia did interfere in 2016, but I am over.
He was the chairman of the Intel committee that submitted the report, the bipartisan report in 2020 that came to the conclusion that Russia
He was
did
a
in fact,
hawk on this stuff.
Yes,
More
he
so than
was.
any other Republican
He
senator,
was.
maybe than Lindsey
He
Graham.
was.
And now they're all lying. Now Tulsi has manifested out of some hot yoga fever dream. This, look, it was all an Obama-led hoax. And Donald Trump is sitting in the Oval Office yesterday, lying about gas prices again, and lying about this, and calling our first Black president treasonous. You motherfucker, you tried to overturn an election you lost with a violent insurrection, and you're gonna go Barack Obama treasonous? I am over the line. And this gas thing, this to me, this is the straw. Because my God, press, every fucking time he says that, go where? Show us.
That's right. Where?
Every fucking time.
Right.
But they don't do it. They just roll to the next lie.
And Joe, you were saying the thing about Tulsi and her lies, and this is just a very short clip I actually grabbed from a group chat we're all on, about him. He admitted that this is all made up.
Obama cheated on the election, and we have it cold, hard, blue, and it's getting even more so because the stuff that's coming in is not even believable. So,
no, it's not.
And you should mention that every time they give you a question that's not appropriate. Just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election. You'll watch the camera turn off instantly.
There it is.
Of course.
Right, part out loud.
There it is.
All the time. Listen, you learn in Debate 101 that when you're losing an argument, you substitute it. Substitute the argument with something else.
If you don't like what they're saying, change the conversation.
Exactly. Like
That's what my Substack is about today. It's like whack-a-mole with look over here.
Absolutely. And that's what they try to do. And that's why programs like ours and independent media, we are here to keep the record, set the record straight, keep people focused on what's really going on, call out the bullshit constantly where others will not. And so the more informed you are, the more that we can say, no, that's not what happened. This is actually what happened, and make them answer for it. Because listen, they're going into August recess. People are going to be home back in their districts. Do not take your foot off the gas. Do not. Democrats, do not take your foot off the gas.
And if you see them at a bagel store trying to buy breakfast, or if you see them at a town hall, which they will not do because they don't want to hear from you, wherever they are, they're on the taxpayer dime. They're able to buy that bagel only because you pay for it.
That's right. And this would also be a great opportunity for Democrats to pick up those town halls again in these districts where the Republicans are, because they have all the time.
Well, that's what I told Congressman Crow the other day. I was like, go talk to your constituents too. Get out there, talk to them. Go see what things are costing them right now. Go talk to them about what they're doing with their money, because they're saving it. They're not spending it.
Simply say, Democrats, we're not afraid of our constituents. We're actually still working for our constituents. We're not tucking tail and running because we don't want to answer questions. That's another thing. You're going into midterms. You want to show people why they should be voting for you. Well, because we're actually working. We're not trying to participate in a conspiracy cover-up with a pedophile president. Like, we're trying to help you.
And I'll give you a great example. As I sit here in the 7th Congressional District of New Jersey at this lovely bridal suite, Senator Andy Kim from New Jersey, went to this congressional district, which is represented by a Republican named Tom Kean, who refused.
That's mine.
Yes, I'm in your congressional district, but not close to you. I'm really in Somerset County. But so he did this town hall, and he invited Tom Kean, who of course did not show up, to do it jointly with him to talk to their constituents. But he came to a Republican district and he did it.
They should be doing this in every swing district that a Republican won. Yeah, right. At every swing district that a Democrat won, or that a Republican or Democrat won, right? Yeah, and say, we're here.
Yep.
Where are you? Come join us. And why wouldn't you? And people respect that. They don't like cowardice. They were like, wait a minute, we do pay you. Why aren't you? You should be here. If you want to it's all about making the libs cry and, the snowflakes. And why are you afraid to debate them? Or why?
And this is again where these people are underestimating their constituents. They're underestimating the people of their party, because people are not stupid. Largely, they're not dumb in the fact that they can read other human beings. And what resonates? Authenticity, integrity, and telling the truth. And people can see right through all the bullshit.
And acknowledging what they're experiencing.
Right, when it impacts them. That's why people don't give a shit about the other stuff. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to lose my hospital. My kid's going to lose his Medicaid, thing. My grandmother, my mom can't go to her nursing home anymore. Like, people understand that stuff. So wait a minute, what are you going to do to change it? What do you mean? That's why we put our ad out last week. That's why Seneca Project, it took us, our little organization, to put out an ad in a swing district in Pennsylvania to troll JD Vance, to say, hey, he's on a propaganda tour lying to you. Donald Trump actually betrayed all of you guys, because this is actually what's happening. Don't listen to them.
And what did we say? What did we see the next day, Tara? What did we see?
Oh, we saw something that said that Donald Trump was betraying you from the Democrats the next day. They didn't do it. We did. And all of a sudden, the day after, they were a day late, of course, and $1 short to it. But, but they've done nothing since then.
And we're not bashing Democrats here. I also just want people to understand that, we are we're angry because they're not doing everything that they can be doing, and they need to do more, because if they don't, then we're to our own detriment and the collapse of this country.
Well, and let me just say this to sort of end on a sort of positive note about all of that, and about what you're saying and what your work, everyone's work here. But what we are doing is breaking through. That's the positive note right now. When it is actually breaking through. People are starting to see, and feel the reality of what is happening. It is hard to break a lot of that fog for a lot of people, and the hardcore cult is not moving, but that's not a conversation that you can really have. But there are a whole lot of people who thought they were voting for something, whatever. They thought they were voting for something else. And there are a whole lot of people who did not know that they were voting for all of this, right? You see it on immigration. You see it in his polling numbers. When you talk to them about what's in the billionaire boner bill, this is why this thing is the most unpopular piece of legislation since they've been, studying this. It's like about as popular as a root canal or Rudy Giuliani's skincare routine, okay? Like, this is why these things actually are breaking through. And what Seneca does and what Julie does and on their Substacks, et cetera, what we are talking to you guys about right now, it is actually breaking through. And the key here to making it really break through is for everybody who's here. I don't know how many people are watching, but literally go
12,697.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about you asshole trolls, but even if it gets through, because I actually give a fuck about you, sort of, and your family.
It impacts them too.
Talk to your friends. Go talk to your neighbors. Go talk to your moms and dads at baseball games. Go talk to the fucking grocery clerk. Go talk to the, yoga instructor. I don't care. Tell 5 people something that they might not have known. And it will get through. And I still fucking believe that we have a chance in these midterms, on whether I'm an optimist and a naive fool or not. I keep having the conversation. The polling is showing that this is breaking through.
Yes.
And we have to keep talking about it and keep ringing the bell and raising the alarm and asking our elected officials to do more. Absolutely, they work for us. But that's just me kind of trying to end it on a sort of uplifting, positive note.
Yes.
All right. On that point, I got to get out of this bridal suite.
Yes, no worries.
I'm talking about your nuptials, Julie. I'm so happy.
I know. I'm here by myself. My groom is not here. My groom is texting me about.
You're surrounded by little clouds with headphones or chickens or whatever it is behind you.
With little roses and all sorts of cards about Mr. and Mrs. And first comes love, then comes dessert. I'm looking at that right now.
Oh my God.
Right. Well, on that note, we will end and say thank you to everybody who's watched today. And absolutely right. Talking in the grocery line, far more effective than political speeches.
100%.
That's exactly right. It's about relationship. It's about being informed and speaking to the people around you about what's happening, because it impacts everybody in everyday lives. And until you pay the price, people don't change, and people are starting to see. So keep it up, and we appreciate all of you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the steaks for us on Seneca, Saturday for our coffee and conversation, and Rafi will, I'm sure, be there again with more cat butt, because he's been here the whole time. For people who've been asking, Rafi's been here monitoring as well. So,
and Julie, your show on Thursday, right? With
yes, with Olga.
Yeah, with, Olga on Thursday at 11 on Substack. Please watch it, because we are going to go through the Russia hoax. She is an expert in all of this and explain why it was not a hoax, why it was incredibly real. As Marco Rubio himself confirmed.
Exactly.
Yes, as Tulsi Gabbard actually acknowledged before she decided to.
Before something happened. But
something happened. So.
Exactly. And if you guys, you need a little Harry Dunn fix, friend of all of ours, I'm going to be on Substack Live with Harry in about 17, 18 minutes. So,
yay.
Yeah. So check that out. I love Harry. I always feel better when I talk to Harry about everything.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one.
We love him. He's a good egg.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys.
Bye, everybody. Bye.